Here's an episode on life-changing books where I share the key insights from the books I find truly powerful. If you feel like improving the quality of your life, you might want to look into your habits that eventually shape who you are. The book Atomic Habits by James Clear offers an incredible insight into how tiny changes can bring remarkable results, how habits are formed, and how easily we can change them. Stay with me. I promise you will get invaluable wisdom from James Clear on how to build habits and how to improve the quality of life. One mistake easy to make is to underestimate the power of small action every single day. We often think that massive success requires massive action. However, those are small 1% improvements every single day that can bring us to impressive results. So, why does 1% matter? If you try to be 1% better every single day for a year, by the end of the year, you will end up being 37 times better compared to the situation if you did not try. It's a power of compounding. Habits are the compound interest of self improvement. 1% better or worse choice may seem insignificant at the moment, but in the long run, it actually leads to incredible results, impressive results. The same goes in the opposite direction. A small negative habit each day can accumulate into some bigger negative outcome. The effect of your habit multiplies as you repeat those habits. And something to remember is that success is the product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations. One mistake easy to make is to fall into the valley of disappointment. Valley of disappointment? What's that? So, when you start a new habit, especially effective habit, you expect the results to show up pretty soon, right? And as the time goes by, you don't really see those encouraging results just yet. You start feeling disappointed. This is what's called the valley of disappointment. The time passes by, you keep putting effort, but you don't see any results. Or if you do see, they're quite tiny. And unfortunately, this is where a lot of people give up. Don't make this mistake. Continue to improve every single day. 1% improvement matters. Even the smallest changes can lead to massive results, but it takes time. Changing habits may seem challenging sometimes because either we try to change the wrong thing or we try to change in the wrong way. What the author, James Clear, means by changing the wrong thing is that there are three layers of behavior change: the outcomes, processes, and identity. Outcome is what you get, what you aspire to get, like losing weight or publishing a book. Most of your goals are associated with this level. Process is what you do. It's concerned with changing your habits and systems. For example, implementing a new routine at the gym, or decluttering your desk for a better workflow, or developing a new meditation routine. Most of your habits are concerned and associated with this level. The third and deepest level is changing your identity, who you become, your worldview, your self-image, your judgment about yourself. Most of your beliefs and assumptions are associated with this level. What is long-lasting deals with identity change. Let's take two smokers, okay? Two guys who are trying to quit smoking. When offered a cigarette, one says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." Saying this, he still believes that he's a smoker, but he's trying to quit. Now, the other guy, when he's offered a cigarette, he says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." Can you see the difference? He no longer believes that he's a smoker. So that has something to do with his newly established identity. Most people, when they set out to change something in their lives, do not even consider the identity change. So they say, for example, "I want to get skinny," so this is the desired outcome. They start working out more often, they go on a diet, this is the process. But they do not realize that the old self-image, the way they look at themselves, if they don't shift it, it's going to sabotage their plan for the improvement. Behind every system of action, there is a system of beliefs. And it's hard to change your habits if you don't change your beliefs that actually even got you into those habits in the first place. It's one thing to say that I'm the type of person who wants this, but it's very different to say that I'm the type of person who is this. True behavior change is identity change. You might start a new habit because of motivation, but most likely you're going to stick with it because it becomes part of your identity. The most practical way of changing who you are is changing what you do. Every time you write a page, you're a writer. But if nothing changes, nothing is going to change. It's a simple two-step process. The first one, decide the type of person you want to be. What do you want to stand for? Your values, your beliefs. Who do you wish to become? Most people operate from the outcome perspective. I want to get a six pack or a better salary. Ask yourself, who is the type of person who can actually get those results? Who is the type of person who can lose 40 pounds? Who can learn a new language? For example, who is the type of person who could write a book? Someone consistent and reliable. So now your focus shifts from the outcome, book, to identity, consistent and reliable. From the outcome based to the identity based. Now, a great example here. A lady who lost 40 pounds kept asking herself these kind of questions all the time. What would a healthy person do? Order a salad or a burrito? Take a cab or walk? She figured that if she acted like that healthy person long enough, she would eventually become that healthy person. And she was right. So the identity-based approach is always a two-way street. Identity shapes your habits and habits shape your identity. So the first step is always decide who you want to be. The second step is prove it to yourself with small wins. Habits are about becoming someone. They matter because they help you to become the type of person you wish to be. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. And remember that as the vote builds up, so does the evidence of your new identity. To understand habits better, we need to understand how they're formed and how they work. The four stages of habit that are happening all the time are referred to as the habit loop. They are cue, anything that triggers the behavior. Craving, you start craving a particular behavior. Response, the positive reinforcement that you get from engaging in the behavior. And reward. The cue triggers a craving, which motivates a response, which provides a reward, which satisfies the craving, and ultimately becomes associated with the cue. Let's transform these steps into a practical framework. The author, James Clear, refers to this framework as the four laws of the behavior change. And the first one is make it obvious. The second one is make it attractive. Third, make it easy. And the fourth, make it satisfying. These four laws help in shaping a good, effective habit. To break a habit though, if you want to change a habit and break something, stop something that you don't like and it seems like ineffective, there are also four laws that can help you, but they are in fact the inversions of the previous four laws. So instead of making it obvious, you make it invisible. The second one, make it unattractive. The third one, make it difficult. And finally, make it unsatisfying. Let's go one by one, shall we? The first law is make it obvious, and James Clear offers three effective ways to make it obvious. The first one is create a habit scorecard. List your habits on a list, and next to each other you put either positive, negative, or neutral. If you are having a trouble deciding whether this habit is positive or negative, then ask yourself a question. Does this habit help me in becoming the person I wish to be? Habits that conflict with your desired identity are usually bad, are usually ineffective. The ones that reinforce your desired identity are good, are effective. Now, when you create this habit scorecard, don't try to change anything right away. The goal of this card is to see what's going on at the moment. After all, you need to be on the lookout for those bad habits if you want to change something, right? And here I like his suggested technique of saying it out loud. Say, for example, you want to cut down on eating junk food, but you notice you're reaching out for a cookie. Then what you can do is say it out loud. I'm about to eat this cookie that will cause me to gain weight. Hearing yourself saying these things brings it kind of more real, more realistic. It adds weight to the action you're about to take instead of just mindlessly doing it. The next effective way to make it obvious is implementation. The strategy is clear. If people make a plan of where and when they're going to perform a habit, they're more likely to follow through. We often say, oh, I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to write more. But we never say when and where these habits are going to happen. We leave it up to chance whether we feel like or not, and hopefully we feel motivated to do this. The simplest way to follow this strategy is to fill out the sentence: I will, action, at, time, in, location. For example, I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. Or I will study Spanish for 15 minutes at 8 a.m. in my bedroom. Being specific helps you to stay focused and not be distracted by things that pull you off course. Give your habit a time and space to exist in this world. The third effective way to make it obvious is called habit stacking. Human behavior follows this strategy. The idea is that you do certain behavior based on what you have just finished doing. For example, going to the bathroom leads to washing your hands, which eventually leads to putting the towel into the laundry machine, then putting the laundry detergent on the shopping list, and so on. No behavior happens in isolation. One behavior triggers the next one. One action becomes a cue that triggers the next action. So why is this important? When it comes to creating new habits, you can use the behavior connectedness to your own advantage. Identify the habit, the current habit that you're already doing each day, and stack a new habit on top. This is what's called habit stacking. Instead of pairing a new habit with a time and location, which is definitely effective as well, you can just pair it with the existing habit. Now, the habit stacking formula is as follows. After current habit, I will new habit. For example, you want to start meditating more often. After I pour myself a cup of coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Or you want to exercise more often. After I take off my work shoes, I'll change into my workout clothes. Or you want to start feeling gratitude more often. After I sit down to have my dinner, I will say one thing I'm grateful for. The idea is that you tie your desired behavior into something you're already doing each day. This lets you take momentum, the natural momentum from the behavior that you have finished, which leads to the next behavior. So for example, the morning routine stack may look something like this. After I pour a cup of coffee, I will meditate. After I meditate, I will write a to-do list. After I write the to-do list, I will immediately begin my first task. Goals like read more do not provide any specific instructions, and they are pretty vague. They need to be clear. After I close the door, after I brush my teeth, after I sit down at the table. Being specific is important. Visual cues are the greatest catalyst of human behavior. This is why a small change in what you see can lead to a bigger change in what you do. You don't have to be a victim of your environment, you can just be the architect of it. When the cues are subtle and less obvious or hidden, it's very easy not to do a certain thing. For example, when the vitamins are hidden somewhere in the pantry, it's easy not to take them. When the apples are hidden in the fridge and not on the counter, it's easy not to eat them. Creating obvious visual cues can lead to the desired habit, to creating the desired habit, to establishing it. If you want to make a habit a big part of your life, make sure you make a cue a big part of your environment. The second law of making a new effective habit, of building a new effective habit, is make it attractive. The more attractive the opportunity is, the more likely it is to become a habit. Habits are a dopamine-driven feedback loop. When dopamine rises, so is our motivation to act. It is the anticipation of the reward, not the reward itself, that gets us into taking action. So the greater the anticipation, the greater the dopamine spike. The strategy is to pair something you want to do with something you need to do. So for example, you really want to check your social media update, but you need to make a few work-related phone calls. So what you do is that after you pair them together. After I make these phone calls, I will check my social media. Also, be aware of your surroundings. You are the average of 5 people you spend the most time with. We don't choose our earliest habits, we imitate them. So the closer we are to someone, the more likely we are to imitate their behavior. One of the effective ways to build a new habit is to join a culture where your desired behavior is their normal behavior. I like that he mentions the power of language as well here. Swap the word have with get. So for example, instead of saying I have to do this exercise, you say I get to do this exercise. I have to wake up early. Instead of this, you say, I get to wake up early. Your mindset determines how pleasurable or painful the experience is, not the experience itself. The third law of establishing a new habit is make it easy. Habits are formed based on frequency, not time. It's about frequency and a number of repetitions. With more and more repetitions, it should get easier. Try to make it as easy as possible from the very start. Say, for example, you want to work out more often. So prepare your workout shoes and a bottle of water the night before so that in the morning it will reduce the number of frictions. Now, the same goes in the opposite direction. So, for example, you want to stop checking your phone way too often. So, even moving your phone from the desk you're working at to another room or somewhere behind you will increase the number of frictions to just, mindlessly picking it up and checking it. It's important to understand that the habits should be established first before being improved. So try to perfect it, try perfecting it from the start, just getting it to stick. The fourth law of building a new habit is make it satisfying, so it keeps you coming back for more. Human brain evolved in a way that it prioritizes immediate rewards over delayed rewards. But the trick is that most of the good habits that we want to adopt do not provide instant gratifications. We don't see the results immediately after we work out. It requires consistency. To get a habit to stick, we need to feel immediately successful, even if it's in a small way. The first three laws we have looked at: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, increase the odds that the behavior will be repeated this time. But the fourth law, make it satisfying, increases the odds that it will be repeated next time. A new habit has to be enjoyable for it to last. And here I like the idea of the clip strategy. You have two jars and one has 120 paper clips and one empty. Each time you complete a task, move one paper clip to the other jar. Even with a book, write one page, move one clip. Visual measures make clear evidence of your progress. As a result, they reinforce your behavior and even add a little bit of satisfaction, immediate satisfaction. Another great tool here is a habit tracker. Well, you can get a simple calendar and just cross out the day when you perform the habit. And in this way, you can clearly see a chain of your consistent actions. And what happens next? If you don't break the chain of working out every day, you will end up getting fitter much faster. If you don't break the chain of creating every day, you will end up with an amazing portfolio. And it doesn't matter whether you've done something amazing or not, whether you have some great results or not right now. The idea is that you showed up and you did it. And he also reminds us, never miss twice. Missing once is an accident, but missing twice is the start of a new habit. Well, I have gone through a general overview of the Atomic Habits book by James Clear, but of course, reading it offers you so many more insights and examples. I would like to finish off with his quote: "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become." So, I will see you next time with another great book overview. Bye!